I think this conference is one of the highlights of the year for both the community spirit maintenance of this group, but also it constantly provides some fresh blood. And I think the international participation this year has been particularly strong, and it's very gratifying to see that basically we're all converging on the same conclusions in our different parts of the world. And it's also very noticeable that we're migrating increasingly towards the more holistic perception of it's the culture, it's the organisational context, it's the financial dimension as well as the technical. And I think this is almost the only platform where that open debate without a hidden agenda is maturing the collective understanding to a pretty clear conclusion actually. It's coming of age quite nicely now.
The key interests and the most exciting things about the Congress in general is that you meet a wide variety of people with all different kind of backgrounds, and especially the presentations in the opening sessions were very interesting and a good illustration of that by means of having a flavor about the organizational cultural changes, which are definitely also related with good asset management practice.
All the presentations I've seen so far have been excellent. Some of the key areas is around the culture and leadership area. Lafreya from Brazil hit on some very key topics. A lot of people think asset management is just about getting people to do as they're told and implement things in systems and processes. But it's much more. It's the leadership style, it's the culture of the organisation and the way in which you structure that thinking around getting the best outcome of your organisation. Having an asset management system is only one step in actually producing good asset management.
I think one of the things that excites us about the conference really is seeing how we're developing the standards from PAS 55 to the ISO 55000. And also how we're starting to now see finance as a much bigger element of the asset management and merging finance and assets to give you a whole picture for an organisation.
Yes, I was particularly interested in the embodied carbon presentation and looking at what's possible in the water industry and how long that's taken to develop. I've also been interested to look at that other companies have similar cultural issues to us, and it's about understanding what asset management is and how you embed that in your own company, and finding that the other companies have very similar issues to what we do.
I mean, generally this conference for me is a good place to come because I can find the network of people I want to engage with all in one place, so from that perspective it's really useful. Specifically I'm interested in some of the earlier presentations, the one around culture and change management, because I see those as being some of the bigger issues that most organisations face in developing their asset management capabilities.
Conference has a number of features which really excited me. Mainly the qualifications launched this year. That's a big part of the conference for me. We're currently delivering the new training for these qualifications. And it's a very exciting time for asset management to be able to see how these qualifications develop and to be able to deliver the training that qualifications require to get organisations sort of experienced in it.
The most exciting sessions I think we've had at this particular conference is with the first two sessions. I actually particularly like the one about leadership. I believe that the UK do suffer from a lack of leadership. We have very good managers but not necessarily leaders, and that probably goes right the way through all companies, all the way right to even to the government. I don't believe they're very good leaders. They don't seem to inspire. I think the Americans are much more into hand on heart and pledge their allegiance, and I think, you know, I think if we could get better leaders, you know, it would be better.
I think personally the conference on the whole I think has been fantastic. I think the presentation I enjoyed the most was the one yesterday morning, John Hardwick from Osgrid, because it was a lot of information about how good asset management principles and data improvement is actually applied. So it's actually some practical sort of assistance that can be useful.
The presentation that I found the most interesting was the keynote presentation yesterday from Osgrid. That was a fascinating insight into how an organisation had managed to get an entire culture of asset management rolled out and do it very successfully with a lot of hard graft and a lot of hard work. But over 7 or 8 years after that, they're starting to see some results now, and it's inspirational. It's fascinating to see that if you keep on plugging away at it, you can have the sort of results that have been touted for quite a long time. So it's very good to see. That was a really interesting talk. That.
One's always learning in this business. I've been rattling around these conferences for 20 or 30 years, and the fun factor is that every single one provides a new little angle or new insight or a different variation of a common theme. And I think that's particularly true as it's accelerating now. I think the buzz level, you can hear it in the background, and the numbers of attendees, and I think the extrapolation forwards means that we're on to something that's very healthy. I think the passion that the asset management community has is a particularly lively, vibrant one. So in fact we get lots of healthy debate, but it's all to a positive outcome. It's not defensive, it's not protecting particular interests. It's actually genuinely seeking to bounce ideas off each other.
At the moment, a lot of the things that I've been learning through the conference so far has actually been through the networking. I've just come from our asset management conference only 2 weeks ago, which is ICOMS in Australia. So coming to this, it's a good opportunity to explore some of the questions that were raised in Australia and talk to people from other parts of the world and other areas, and take back to our members some of their ideas and thoughts and challenge some of the ways in which we do things. The most important thing for me at a conference is to listen to other people's points of view and understand the context of what they're saying. And it's not about just taking their ideas and implementing them in your organisation. It's about understanding the concepts and why they did what they did, and then work out how you could interpret that into your environment and then implement a way in which suits your business.
From the IAM perspective, I only recently joined it, and I hadn't realised quite how, not in a nasty way, how small it was, but how also that makes it quite dynamic and friendly, and you can play quite an important part just being one person rather than have to be a big organisation.
I think it's brilliant, mainly because it is both at a strategic level of asset management, as well as it has examples of the engineering side of the business, which is where I come from. Being a PhD student, reading a lot about the standards as a part of the literature review, it has been very well briefly taken, been discussed in detail in the session. So I think that is quite informative. And a key part of the event is networking, because you get to meet so many people who are experts in the industry, and I'm really looking forward to that for the day. So yes.
It's the first time I've attended the conference, and it has helped me to increase my knowledge of asset management. It's also helped me to understand what other information is out there that will help me within my job on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, I mean, I think the conference is always a useful learning experience, because we get people coming now from all over the world and from a lot of different backgrounds in asset management. So from that perspective, it's a good conference to come to. Things I've specifically learned, I think the whole cultural change thing is becoming really important in asset management. Over the years, we've captured a lot of the core technical stuff. We've captured management system processes through things like PAS 55 and the ISO, and I think the area most organisations are struggling with is getting that cultural change piece right. So more presentations in that area are coming out, and I think that's an area I will take back into my work as well.
This is my first conference. Overall impression is excellent. It's very well structured, very well featured. The presentations are really informative. I think anybody that hasn't been to one of these conferences before and doesn't even quite know if they have a role in asset management should come along here and see what it's all about and whether or not asset management is something they can improve on. And I do believe that a lot of people would find that there is a lot more to asset management than they know, and there's a lot of improvements and a lot of development going on in asset management that I think everyone can benefit from.
I've used on the IAM conference, I've been to quite a few. It's very local to us because National Grid is only based in Warwick. I think the thing, it was the bit about that I'm not wrong, I'm just different. And I think in a male-orientated company, think that's a real good thing, that I'm not wrong, I'm just female.
And I attended the conference 2 years ago, and I found it probably even better this time because I know more about asset management, so I've been able to choose some sessions to go to that are a bit more applied. I think one of the most important things that I'll take back is about cultural change and helping to embed some of the processes. So I think that's something that's come through in today's conference, and it's been, you know, very, very useful.
The overall impression I have of the conference is of it's a very interesting place. There's obviously a lot of time for networking. There's a lot of people here that are fascinating to chat to, give different aspects, different views of the asset management world and how to do different things. And it's just a very interesting, vibrant place. I think the things that I'll be taking back, one or two contacts, and just having learned some very interesting things. Again, they're sort of about culture and some of the less tangible things. But often, I think asset management is seen as something that involves a lot of modelling, a lot of things like whole life cost, and lots of these kind of buzzwords. But at the same time, there's a lot of cultural aspects. There's a lot of very difficult things to really discuss and really think about in the thing. That's I think have been actually discussed very well here. So I've take away quite a lot of that.
This is the first time I've been, although I've been a member of the IAM for 5 or 6 years. It's my first time here. I've really enjoyed it. It's been good. There's been a good mix of people, good networking opportunities, and some real good presenters. What will I take back? I think what I'll take back is that there's still lots to learn and lots to be done, and it's a really exciting field to be working in at the moment.
Well, honestly spoken, I have to speak from an external audit point of view. That's also my role within the Institute as a patron. And I'm always very exciting coming over to this kind of events, because it gives a good opportunity to meet both worlds. So the technical and operational people together with the finance people. And it's a very good opportunity to learn each other's language and world and insights.
In our organisation, the benefits of asset management are reasonably well understood now. We've done an extensive training of our finance departments, our senior management, middle management on asset management in Australia and the concepts that we use from an Australian point of view. And it's well understood in certain areas. The issue is, as people change roles and positions, keeping that current and up to date. So one of the challenges for all of us is the education programs and the way in which you talk to people about asset management is really critical in keeping it running.
I think the conference definitely has added to my sort of understanding of asset management, and networking opportunities have been quite positive. I've met a few people here that I think I'm going to follow up contacts with.
I don't think the benefits of asset management are fully understood by my industry. I think we're at the beginning of that journey, but there's a lot more that we could learn to benefit us.
The benefits of asset management, I would say, by our business is very well understood. As a consultancy company consulting on asset management, I'd very much hope that they are. What we try to do as a consultancy is help other people understand the benefits of asset management and where they can improve their asset management practice.
The benefits of asset management are very well understood. I think we're very mature in our outlook. I think the regulators made us more mature, we've had to, so I think we're actually much further than a lot of companies. So yes, asset management is very important to National Grid.
I think in the rail industry, I think it's quite well established asset management, and I think the benefits are understood. A little bit probably more difficult to quantify, but I think there's a general consensus that it's a good thing, definitely.
I think it's beginning to get there. It's something that is I think, again, those sort of more tangible things with asset management, people see the benefit of those and understand that they can have a good effect. I think there is a little bit of reluctance. I think the rail industry is something that is quite conservative in many ways, and it can be quite hard to change cultures, change traditional ways of working and things like that. And I think that it's beginning to have an effect, but I think it needs a lot more effort, a lot more push, a lot more understanding of the overall way that things should be working and things like that. But we will get there in the end, I think.
As a consultant, I'd say yes, because I try and sell asset management services. However, with many of my clients and prospective clients, I don't think the benefits are well understood at all. I think people will have an understanding that they can do what they do better, and they know that they need some formal way of doing that. However, what the actual benefits are as yet undetermined.
Benefits of asset management are really difficult to sell, and part of the reason is we've never costed or been able to show the performance of infrastructure in the past. So in fact we've underspent all the time. So one of our jobs is to show how we can reduce our future costs, but we're not going to reduce the costs of today, but we can reduce the cost of future generations.
I'd just like to add as one sort of final comment is don't close your mind to other people's ideas. One of the key things that I see people do that actually constrains their future advancement is think what they're doing is best in practice and best of breed. I've never seen any one individual have the best of everything. Those people that understand and reflect on where they've done good things and where they've done bad things and continue to search out people from around the world that have a different way of approaching the same problem that may give your business a much bigger lift in benefit. Constraining your thinking is your biggest hurdle to improvement in asset management.
I think apart from all the the interesting topics that we've discussed and heard presentations about, the one that was which has taken my interest particularly is the one talking about building the future. Because while everything is in place and while things are being done, they are short-term or medium-term. But the fact is that we need to look beyond with a perceivable future and think what's next, what's there beyond that. So I personally like that element, sustainable and resilient element of the study, and I think I'm going to take that back to my research.
But I think this year has been very special to have the whole global forum present, and that covers everywhere from working by time zones from Canada and South America through the States, Europe and South Africa to Australia and the Gulf. So it's the actual mix that's been important rather than any one person, I think.
The international aspect of the asset management, to be honest, I wasn't aware of at all. I thought it was very much a UK-based organisation that was probably just stretching into Europe now. The fact that it's sort of gone worldwide has been quite a surprise to me and very interesting.
I've recently been involved in the SSGs, the subject-specific guideline groups, and I have become aware of what's happening internationally as a result of that. And it's been quite interesting to see how different companies do either things in similar or different ways to us.
I chair 28 countries developing 3 international standards, so I'm very aware of that, and I was also aware of the Global Forum for Maintenance and Asset Management. But it's been really useful opportunity to network and meet with those members of that organisation that I've not met with before. A few of them sit on my committee, so I tend to know some of them, but definitely a whole bunch of new people to meet, and that's been a great experience as well.
The international activity in asset management is something that's clearly very much growing at the moment. I wasn't fully aware of quite how far it's extending, how far its reach is now, and it's clearly developing at a very rapid pace. And it'll be extremely useful to us as a training organisation and as a consultancy to really follow up and try and get into all these different countries and help deliver excellence in asset management.
Yeah, I find the networking part of the whole conference is the most important and crucial. It's, I've just been talking to someone from Abu Dhabi and how what their problem is different to ours, and it's just quite nice to exchange views and get ideas. So yes, it's crucial that the international part of it just makes it more interesting.
I think I was already aware that there was international interest in asset management, but I think the conference has sort of opened my eyes to the extent of the global consultation, especially in relation to ISO 55000, and it's provided great opportunities to network with various different people and get different insights from different industries, so it's really invaluable in that sense.
I was somewhat aware of the international work that's going on in asset management. Obviously Australia has a very big scene sort of for asset management. I think, I don't know so much about other countries, but to see so many different nationalities here at the conference, and as well to hear about some of the things that are going on elsewhere. It's always interesting to see the challenges that other people, there was a chap yesterday talking about in Peru how they have 3 different types of terrain. They've got desert and jungle and then sort of the more temperate regions, and it's and sort of again hearing him talk about that and the completely different ways that they have to try to do asset management and things like maintenance in order to get the same results that we would here in a much more temperate climate is again sort of fascinating. So yeah.
Yes, I was aware of the international activity. I sit on the mirror committee for PC 251, the ISO 55000 document, and I work extensively overseas, so I'm aware of the developing interest in asset management. But sure, the conference was good.
Well, I suppose that's all I've done for 30 years, so my thing is we all learn off each other. It's the only way you can learn. Search out people who are doing something and try and replicate what they're doing and then improve on it. That's really what the name of the game is. So yes, it's fabulous to be in a large group like this. A lot of old friends. Thank you.
The main benefit of this particular conference is networking. If you pick one place in which you find the world's asset managers gathered, it's here. That's often quite good in other places, but this is always the best mix.